today we're getting into it. Like every day. Every day we're getting into it. Had such a busy weekend. My husband received a bunch of free wood, some really nice wood, a lot of it. And he had to go get it all. But of course, I'm the one that has to move it. So yesterday, I dragged quite a bit of wood and he stacked it. So I was the legs and he was the arms. But yeah, I wish I would have felt a little bit more sore, like I actually did work. But no, I feel like I worked hard. So I worked last night and I got these sections in here. And let's take a close look at them and we'll talk about what I did here. Yeah, Stinkor's holding on to the camera in the back there. All right, so I put these top little pieces across. And so I still have to put these two in. And you can see here I pinned this one. When I pull these pins out, make sure you hold the cardstock firmly so it doesn't separate. Because cardstock is a little bit difficult. Oh, it's like I need some gloves sometimes for these. Ouch. My fingers hurt from pinning all of these yesterday. So you can imagine I use this tool here to push them in. And there's a bunch of little holes inside of it. So I'm just going to do this, undo this. And what I had to do this weekend was I had to bring in some joint compound. And I put joint compound in this little baggie here. And then I cut the top off. And that way, if you ever need it, you can just keep it around. You just break off the dried stuff, and then you can start pressing it again. Well, come on. And it'll go. So anyway, but I had to fill in the cracks in the back because with the blackest black paint, when I filled those in, you can't tell if anything's off. It's really hard. In fact, it's really hard to see when you paint this on the highs and lows of the paint. Let's take an example of what I'm talking about here. Let's get a brush out and we'll do a little bit here. So it's so black. Oops, dropping everything. It's so black that I gotta get this light just right. Oh, sorry, I'm blinding you. Right. It's so black that you can't really tell if you left high and low spots on there, you know? So what I do is I'm just throwing paint on like that, right? Well, I don't know how smooth it is because it's so dark you can't tell where the highs and lows are. So I will just put it on like that over and over, and I'll do a couple coats, hoping it's smooth because, like I said, you really can't see those edges very well. So that's kind of what happened is I missed out on some sections that I could not see very well. So I had to get my phone light in there. And I had to shine it up into those holes and notice and look around. And so that's how I got a lot of that in there fixed. So we're going to take a look at some of the cars I have today and see if some of these are going to work. This is the smallest amount of section of cars. Hello, Nutmeg. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining today. I'm just going to look and see what I have. This is like, if people ask me what type of collections I'd have, I mean, I could go through, I got accidental collections of everything. So the guy I knew in Everett, he owned several buildings there and rented them out. And one day he brought this over. Somebody had, you know, absconded or left the building or whatever and didn't pay rent anymore. And they left a bunch of stuff behind. So look at all of these like model tires. In fact, one of these makes a really good ring you can wear on your finger. So I'm just saying, you know, fashion can come in anywhere. I've got a lot of little model pieces and stuff like this around that I keep because you can use these, like I said, in my diorama. I could use these little hubcaps and put them around in the junk part. And a lot of these little metal screws and pieces, they can be used for other things too for this project. So some examples of some things that you could see, like here we have another car. And we have a tire. I've already taken the seat off and used that for another project. That was, I believe, the Clown Funhouse one. Some would call it the Twisted Metal. I would say the Killer Clowns. So here we go. So you got a lot of these little pieces like that that I keep through the years and I can use throughout. I'm going to look in here, see if there's anything specific for what I want. You know, I mean, that's just pretty dang cool, but we gotta stay within the boundaries of trucks and bikes. Now, I think all my bike pieces are a little too big, so that's all right. And I don't see much in here for it. A lot of times I'll just come back through. I'll just take a visual of this project and say, oh, I see what I might need in the future. And then I can put this stuff away and come back to it. Yeah, I've used quite a bit of these over the years too, so they're actually pretty sweet. All right, put that in there, making all this noise. Let's go into the next card thing. I actually have a giant case of cards, and I'll go through that later on. And just, once again, a really cool guy at the museum gave me these. I was going to make a diorama out of them, but just not yet. These are higher end cards too. It's more collector items. Made in England. Nice. Got some little skateboards. Grogu. Wasn't expecting to see this. This, I don't know if I want to use this. If this really special or not, I don't know. Let's see. Oh, gold medals from the, did you see? I know, my Walker Home Olympics. Yeah. Where are my gold medals? You know, I said if I didn't make accommodations, I would have won 7. No, we had a great time. It was one whole day of fun. Yeah, I should wear my medals. In fact, I should have planned on making medals. I was going to cut out medals, and I was like, I just didn't have time. It was so busy. So this is pretty sweet for this project. I mean, it adds a degree, you know, a level there of shiny. I think I'm going to do that. Thank you, Elizabeth, for joining. I appreciate it. Thank you. Awesome. We got some other little cards here. I wonder what's up with this. You see how high this bed is? You see how high that is? What is up with this empty space in here? So if I wanted to look inside, I would just unscrew here or here and then pull that, because I feel like you could hide stuff in there. What is in there? Is this some, this isn't motorized. It doesn't pull back. It's very unusual. I'm just going to point that out. Look at this old school snowmobile or snow machine, depending on where you live. And a bunch of cake or party favor motorcycles. I also have the boat. I think this is also a cake supply. I'm not sure. There's a skier. I have a skier for this. He's somewhere. And then these are from old Cracker Jack. Right, I want to make sure. No, this is Tootsie Toy, made in the United States. I thought these were the old Cracker Jack ones, but see, I can make a diorama out of this one too. So that's always nice to do. But I got a lot of little micro machines in here, and I'm wondering why they're in this container and not in other special places. I have made so many micro machine things over the years that I just love them so much. Whenever I can get a micro machine anywhere, I will get them and pick them up. So yeah, that's what's going on with that case. I guess we only found one car out of there. I thought I was grabbing my other car case, but I'll have to go outside for that one. So we've got a few cars out. I was hoping to find a car so I could smash it, because that was the goal today, to smash cars up. So what I'm going to do with this diorama, once I get my smash cards found out and stuff, is I'm going to decide where they're going to be. So let's say here's this car. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut this away. And I'm going to cut out sections. Whoops. My blade did not like that. Hold on. Not every blade is meant for every project, I mean, but we're going to do this one anyway. Oh, I found another needle. So I'm just going to cut out these little sections. I feel like we need to be closer. Get up in here. Come closer. Come a little bit closer. Here we go. And so I'm just cutting these little sections out. I'll just make a cross through or something like that. I don't know, do something random. Just try to get that out. As long as I get one spot out, then we can move forward. So what I'm going to do with these spots is these are going to be the cars embedded into the hill. Now we can't do the diagonal as much as we would like to because we're working with a large scale in comparison to other scales of stuff. So we have to remember to stick within a certain area zone. Yeah, this is fun. This is a lot of fun. Okay. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. So I will do that. Now, why didn't I do this before? It's very simple. Because when you put that joint compound down, it holds all that foam in. So if I was not to do that, I'd have more foam breakout. I wouldn't be able to cut in as well. So that's just one of the examples of why, you know, sometimes it's just best to go ahead and put it all on and then cut away what you need. So what's going to happen is, I'll give you an example, is I'll take one of these cars, and I'm going to tell you a couple things about Hot Wheels. They're really cool. Is you can open these up and put headlights in these, and you can do all kinds of stuff. So what you do is you take your drill bit and you drill out this hole here, and this one doesn't have a second hole because it's on a lip. That means, so you drill out this hole and you take it apart, and you'd have a little lip. So then you can put your light kits in there and put your headlights. You can drill out the headlight holes and then put your LEDs in there. So that's really a lot of fun. Thank you, Stripe the Furry Tiger. So yeah, and so what I'm gonna do is I'll go find another car. I'm gonna drill the bottom out. I'm gonna make sure it's, I'm not gonna do the metal cars because they're worth more money. I'm gonna do a plastic car. This is actually plastic, but I need this for the other project. And then I'm gonna take it apart and I'm gonna smash them. I'm gonna take my hammer and smash them up, and I'm gonna put them in here, in these little spots that I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna do more. It's gonna be like, maybe I'll put one over, like, I guess that's a big piece right there. Maybe I'll put one there. Let's do like this. Let's make it easier with an ink pen. I don't know how well an ink pen's gonna work on this. So I'm gonna cut that piece out there, and then I'll cut a piece out down here. And if I need to do back here or not, and then maybe I'll put a piece up on here, maybe 2 pieces, okay? And then I'll do the same over here. I'll cut out different spaces, and I'll mash those cars in there. And then after I push that car in there, let's just do this. After I push that car in there, and it's gonna fill in the more of the spaces around. I'm not gonna worry about any of this light color. Instead, what I'm going to do is fill it full of sand. So I'll glue it, fill it full of sand, and I won't have to worry about the edges because there's going to be very little taken up on the sides. So it's going to be filled with the right size vehicle. Once I do that, and that's done, I'm going to wing it. I'm winging it. I'm always winging it just because I think that's how it should be done. Winging is I will take the trailers. I mean, that's pretty nice. And I'm going to put them also as a layer above those cars. So you're going to get a 2 different layered look. I'm going to say that's what I'm going to do, but sometimes you switch it around and you don't do those things. I use spackle with Mod Podge. I'm guessing it's the same as joint con. Yes, there you go. Exactly, exactly. And what I do is I make myself a little caulking gun with a sandwich bake, and you can keep this forever. It will stay fresh, and I cut the tip off, and then I can really get in there and use those small areas and stuff. So, and the Mod Podge is really good. Mod Podge matte and Mod Podge gloss, I would suggest getting both of those because if you want to seal something really well, this is my little method. If I want to seal something really well, I will use the Mod Podge like gloss, for example, okay? And I'll put several layers on there. Well, then I'll come back through with my Mod Podge matte. And then I'll cover that to take that shine away. Because remember, we don't want shiny dioramas because unless it's wet, I mean, unless you want it to look wet and muddy, that's cool. But if we're just doing regular dioramas, we don't need any shine on there. I don't want a gloss shine. I want a matte. I want this to look flat. And so that's a good way to seal. So you can use the Mod Podge gloss and then come back through with the matte. So you're really making sure it's sealed up really good, really well. All right, I got that little spotlight, the multicolor, so this will change. So the concept is, okay, I first bought the wrong lights. Well, I thought I was buying the proper lights. I bought these called globe lights, and I laughed because I ordered 100 of them. That's 100. And I didn't know they made disposable LEDs, but here we go. They flash their light. So this originally was going to be what I was going to put up there, but that just seems like a waste. I mean, I really don't like to have wasteful things. So this would have to have multi-purpose for me to use. So I'll keep those for the future. But instead, I ended up buying those spotlights. Let's try to pull out a container here. I bought those spotlights. If I was thinking, like, if I was editing to this, I would say it again. I bought the spotlights. And look at that. You get 4 spotlights. There's only 3 of them in here right now because the other one's right there, or right down here. And look at all the extra batteries they give you. Now, these spotlights are magnetic. I'm not selling these spotlights or anything. I'm not getting any profit for it. But they're heavy duty. They're magnetic. They're strong magnetic too. They're not weak. And they come in many different colors. So you can get the cool white, which I already bought. I don't have, I think I put that away. Oh, the cool white, a warm white, but I do want to say these are $20 for 4. So I just say they're not inexpensive. But if you're doing lighting, and I'm going to keep these little tags too. And so you can see here's that's just a regular. Look at how bright that is. Wow. So you can see that's just a regular. I'm going to put that back in there. Which one did I take it from? Dang it. Okay, I guess that box, we'll put it in there. So this multi-light, now here comes this is what I have to figure out, you guys. I cut all these pieces, before I go into the lights real quick, I cut all of these pieces out last night, used my bone folder to make sure they're all tight. You still have to do it a couple times. And make sure I also sand on the inside of these. It's very important to sand this stuff or else it'll pop right back off. Okay, so there we go, talk about that. And that's what I've been doing last night, was putting all of those on. And so I still have a lot more to do. What I'm going to do about this light is, this is the thing. We're going to the back side. So I still have to decide on the top building. I'm probably going to start that today. I feel confident. I feel confident enough to try it. So if everything is just where it should be, right, a little to the right, a little to the left, bring it out a little bit more. This was a lot more unexpected than, the design is a lot different than I expected. So I might have to change things up a little more. The idea is, this is hanging on your wall, okay? This would be almost touching the wall. It's hanging up. The idea is, I thought it'd be cool if I could set these lights up in a way that the light shadows of this were brought up on the wall larger. So that's part of the design, is you've got your diorama hangs on the wall, and then you have this light structure that shines up onto the motorhome, and you can see it on the wall. Now, it would only be so big because I've already tried it. So this is the issues I have. One is, how's the person that owns this going to operate the lights? Good luck to you, my friend. I need the light lower than the motorhome. There's no place around here where it would shine up enough. So I'm thinking I could drill a hole into the building. Into the building top, make this whole structure just lift off. Then you could turn the light on, put the structure back down very easily, and then you could have that light going, and it will reflect the motorhome against the wall. Do I see any problems with that? Maybe, but you know, okay. So that is the goal. And then I also went through all of my little miniature people the other day to see if I had anybody that kind of looked like Juliette Lewis, anybody that looked like George Clooney for that last scene before that he drives off, and putting them into the diorama. But of course I didn't. So Um, that's okay. I think I used that guy up on Nosferatu or something. What I did is a giant diorama many years ago for my front loader Hot Wheels, and it's an entire loop around from the mountains to the ocean. And there's a city, there's farms, there's uh, everything you can think of in that diorama, and it was one of the coolest dioramas. I really love that piece. One day maybe I'll take it back out of the box again. All right, so what I did notice, this is how tall it's gonna be. And then I have this bend over here. I've definitely got to get a new phone. It is getting really, really like fuzzy, hazy lately. Oh my gosh. I've dropped it one too many times. So I've got this section around here and then I'm going to put, and it's got that lean over section. So what I'll do is probably just glue this on, pin it on, and I'll have to cut out the sections too to make those holes. There are 3 holes, and I'll have to do something to fix around this. Let's take a look at this. So if you see my lives, I've talked about let's grab that paper. I've been talking about having to figure out, I should also cover something else out. I realize sometimes when you live life, you don't realize your life is probably not PG. So you have to order G, so you have to like remember to censor yourself. And I think that's important to do sometimes. As an artist, I don't get it, but sometimes, that's how it is. You just see things differently. I don't know. So there, we've got everything censored now. See, if I could offer a suggestion, make the back of the building a mirror and bounce the LED right off the mirror I like that. I might do that. That's a really good idea. Mirrors really work well. I will put mirrors inside of items where light's going to be, knowing that light will bounce off of those mirrors and reflect, or even aluminum foil will work too. But definitely great tip, Tom. Thank you. Thank you. I will actually really think about that too, because I will need more space. So using the mirror might give me more space and then do that. So that's a very good idea. In fact, I'm going to write that down over here so don't forget. I'll be like, what did they tell me? I was taking a shower, and I don't know how you guys are, but hair art in the shower is so fascinating to me. I just feel like the world is not ready for it yet, or else I would share my hair art with you guys, but that's the hair that falls out when you're in the shower and you put it up on the wall so it doesn't go down the drain and make a huge giant hair monster. Because when you got long hair, you hair monsters. And then you move it around on the wall and you can make really cool shapes and stuff. So, all right, anyway, I was talking about. So let's just go through really quick. I was originally going to make the back. This is my picture I'm making here. It's kind of getting old. So that's the design. I went ahead and added a lot of details that are not here. I just took my artistic ability, added those details on here myself. So I noticed up here that it looked like there was an arch over the door, and it looks like it's square. But when you look at the front of this here, you see these side little buildings, you would say, side buildings, right? Well, if like all of us have seen many step pyramids, especially the Mayans, there's not a lot of them if you look online, and you will notice there's no side buildings on them. There's just one square on top. Okay, so I thought, well, that's very strange. I looked and did some studying and stuff. So I thought, well, this is really strange right here. And then I took the picture where they start here and they zoom out into this long picture. And then I studied this and I noticed that those side buildings are actually the temple. It's kind of a square. Now, what I think happened is you had 2 different artists working on this project. So I think that probably what happened is why the designs are really kind of different and off. So from here, this building, you can see goes straight into here, and there's the topper. So technically, it's not really this, it's more this. Okay. And if you watched the movie, there is a side little building over here, but it's not identical to this side. Okay. So we see here we have our own little square, and then as you're looking at it, that top thing that I thought was the front way to the entrance is not. It is the top part around structure, and the missing part, it looks like a meteor hit it out. So there's a missing part of that. So that is my goal for today, is to work on these sections up here. I think talking about it with you guys really helped me decide. You could take one of the motorcycles off and make him climb in the stairs. In fact, yes, I did order some more motorcycles. They will be here in a couple days or any day now. And I'm going to cut the guys off of the motorcycles so I could put one of them on here. That wouldn't be a bad idea. I thought about making them into tiny little vampires. You know, Woodland Scenics probably does have tiny vampires. I wouldn't be surprised. They have the most amazing selection of tiny people ever. I mean, they're really cool. I bought 100 pack of Woodland Scenics people for $100, and not only did I get like a lot of people, I got like other little things like a miniature Coke machine, little benches, stuff like that. So it's worth it to buy the $100 one, especially when the motorcycle guys cost me 20 bucks for 3 of them. So buying the assorted pack, which is whatever they want to give you for $100, is really good deal. I think so. Yeah. But check it out. All right. So I think I am going to go ahead and make this movable for the light. I've just decided I'm going to do that. That's where the light will be the on and off, so it's easy to access. All right, I like that idea. I think that just figuring it out as I go will help, and then doing the cardstock around is really going to make a difference. The foam really is there just as our base. I didn't want to do balsa wood because the balsa wood would it would warp, and so you would have more of a warping look. I mean, it might have looked better on here. This was quite an adventure doing all of this, and it's not perfect. I mean, there's some parts on here there. But I'm okay with that. So anyway, but yeah, I'll just start cutting out these sections too, putting my cars in, and then filling them full of sand. So we're just gonna have that look underneath there. That'll look good. We'll see how this goes. I mean, you never know. I'm starting to lose my love for it, and that's not unnormal to happen when you're doing projects like this. Let's move some stuff out of the way here. Is that sometimes you put a lot of love into your art pieces, okay? And then something happens that you're frustrated with your art piece. Well, now you're losing your relationship with your art piece, and the camaraderie you and the art piece shared. You were working together so well, and now we've got problems, and you're just like, what is up with this art piece? And you're mad at it. So your relationship kind of changes with your art piece as you go. I don't know. I guess maybe sometimes you get too emotional with your art or something. I don't know, but I did this yesterday. Just a little bit of stuff. I just put this little design right here because I had to paint the top of my painting. Oh, we're not seeing. I finally finished the last part of my painting. And I finally flipped it over and put the last coat of paint right here. So I threw that extra paint on there. And there we go. It's done. It's done. It's over with too. So I'm a little sad about that, but that's okay. That was 361 hours. All right. I was hoping to smash up cards today, but that wasn't possible. So let's go ahead and glue this on. It's like getting angry friend, but it needs some time apart. Exactly, Tom. It is. And that's what I'm having, like painting the ladies and stuff. Oh my gosh. I don't know what's happened to my mind. When I could not do something right, it messed with me and my confidence. It was like the worst. And so, I mean, so I'm writing, here I am writing Selma Hayek. Why are you so hard to paint? No, I'm not. But here we go. I'm gonna look here. I have not been 100% happy with some of the things that are going on with this piece, but I don't care. I think we'll get through it. And I always say my pieces are like prototypes, because then you can take, you know how you ever look at someone else's idea and you say, oh, it'd be so much better if they did this. And so that's what I think will happen is you look at your stuff and you're like, oh, I know what would do to make that better. And then you're like, oh, there we go. As long as I knew in my head, if I wanted to make it again, I could do that. All right, so I'm gonna take my glue, and I always say, like, you should definitely keep your glue more than 50% full or get a new one, because you're wasting time. This is wasted time when you can easily just push it and it comes right out like that. That's what you want. These are things that I do to keep myself efficient. And another thing I do is if I have excess glue, I immediately just wipe it on the bottom of my table, the underneath section of my table. So I don't have to go around forever like trying to wipe it off. I just go like that and move forward, so I don't have to have any wasteful time. Another thing, if I'm doing a lot of something and I'm gluing it down, I will, or I'm doing a lot of something, I have to glue a lot of little pieces down. Let's say I'm putting pins in or something, okay, or beads. If I drop a bead, I will leave it on the ground. I don't pick it up until I'm done with my project. But when I did lots of beaded projects, I realized there was so much time from dropped stuff, looking for it and picking it up, and how much time I was wasting doing that. And you automatically do that. You don't realize you're doing those things at all. So that's what was kind of interesting, I thought, is the things that we do that we don't notice. All right, my fingers are very sore. I need a thimble, so I could go and walk into the other room and get one, but that's far distance. Camera would be boring. All right, go there. So yeah, so remember, if you drop stuff, just pick it up later. Just go, you're trying to be efficient. I do other efficient things too, like I push on the microwave the same number, like 33 seconds, I'll do that. Instead of putting 30, it's just more efficient to put the same number. And then I've started just wearing, like, buying matching undergarments. Everything is matching. That way, when I go in my drawer, I just pick out what I need immediately. I don't have to sit there and decide. Oh my gosh, that's the worst thing in the world, is taking time to decide things. Ugh. There we go. Especially, that's why a lot of my art pieces will take years before I do them, because sometimes you have to hash out the little things inside, as you go. So you do the same thing with the microwave, totally. Yes. Get those, I know, it's like, why? Oops. Try to find something to push this corner one down. So I have to bend here, bend. Let's get it close so it's easier to all see it. Someone just fell off of there. Great, good times. Where am I? Here? Yep, right there. Okay. Let's get this out. Some of these I bent to make them into so they can hold if you need to. All right. This one, I'll do that there into this section and hold that on there. I don't want it pushed in too much. For dinner tonight, I'm thinking about making stroganoff. Stroganoff. Sounds delicious. Not the expensive steak stroganoff. No, I like the hamburger stroganoff. Super easy. Hamburger, garlic, cream of mushroom, and sour cream. And then I use egg noodles, sometimes rice. But it's simple, yummy, delicious. And finding out like the perfect amount of cream to put in. Oh, see, that's so tough right there. I cannot even get that through. I've been trying this entire, I already bent a pin trying to push it in here. I bent that pin too, but it did go in. Okay, we're good. Whew. All right. I'm looking at it. There's some things that I don't like. See how that's forward too far. But what I think I'll do is not worry about that, because the sand is going to be the filler for everything. So with the sand, we'll go ahead and I'll cover all these top areas. So I don't need to put anything up here. I'm just going to push sand, and it's okay if I have high areas. If I don't like that, I can just snip it off like this. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying, you know, don't be afraid of your art piece. You can mess with it. Put that in there right. There we go. All right, that one looks good. Let's find the other one that I just messed with and then decided where did it go. Hello. Oh gosh. Okay, maybe I didn't make it yet. Maybe I didn't make it. Oh, I didn't make it. Ha 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 ha. So what I'm doing with this, I'll show you. Dots really add dimension to the trim. Thank you. You know, the thing is, they're not even their good dots. I'll show you what I did. But I think that anything that's a high and low will help. You know what I'm saying? Anything to depth will help. It's just, I was going to do lines and then I did dots and just trying to figure it out. I was like, these don't look very good, Tammy. I was like, I don't care. So I put that first color down. I think this was that moccasin brown. And then, make sure I bent it. I think I cut this one too low. And then I'm going to take that dark brown, the burnt umber it's called, and I'm just going to put the edge. So I'm just doing the edge like that. And then I take, and this isn't the right brush I use. And then I go dot like that for the top edge. And I say, that's good enough, you know, okay. And then I take this, I hate it when they put the names on, coffee latte. Sorry, I'm not a coffee drinker. So like if someone asked me to order them a specific kind of coffee, I'd be like, what? I don't even know what you're speaking. Okay, so then I take that coffee latte and I'm gonna add a strip right like that. This took me a couple hours to figure out I was gonna do this. I had to try different methods first. And so I'm gonna put that across, that strip across, okay. Then when that dries, I take my micron brown and I add a line right above that. So right above that. So it would pretty much look like, so you can see oops. I guess my hand wasn't in there. Now I don't even see it. Oh, there it is. You can't even see it. Okay. But it's this light brown line right there. It looks like it's like the burnt sienna color. And that's what these are. That's what's done here is I put the line right here. I put the line right here. And I put the line around these little edges here too. And so it's just the tiniest little detail that really adds something to it. I'm thinking it does. All right, here we go, move back. And once again, I'll just talk about some of the tools really quick. I've got my best knife ever, the Fisker's finger knife. This has been a game changer, especially for someone like me who does not really like to do there's like the holding method. This one gives me the freedom of cutting much better. And whereas like doing the pen method is really difficult for me and it hurts my fingers. So, and a couple other things are these little clips are really great for miniatures. Little roach clips, I guess they would call them. You get these, really good. That's for lots of projects. I used them always on here. And of course, sewing pins are really good for holding in certain pieces and stuff. So that's another good thing to have around. A lot of these things you can get at the dollar store. I think back in the day, I used to get a lot of my supplies at the dollar store. For, you know, like when you need things like this. I did a project where I did 25,000 needles and over 25,000 beads, and I hand beaded an entire head of beads. It's very cool, and hair, everything. That was part of my head series from the late 2000s. I did a series of different heads. There's like a head out of wax and crayons. There's a head out of turkey feathers. My dad did when he was hunting. He got a turkey, and so I used all those feathers. just a bunch of heads like that. One out of a box of just nuts and bolts my friend gave me, and I made a head out of that using the saw blade. It goes right through the top of the head. It was very cool. It was very cool. I miss doing old recycled art, but you know, sometimes you just find path and go to, especially miniatures are so fun, is you want things small yourself and you want things but you don't have the space, so make it a miniature. Like I remember I wanted to do murals and I didn't have a lot of businesses to do murals on because it's physically hard on me too, on my neck. And so I just started making miniature houses and painting the murals on the houses. So there's more than one way to skin a cat, is what I'm saying. Is you can do more than one thing to make things happen for yourself, to make whatever you want. There's more than one way to do something. Definitely. All right. Oh my gosh, yeah, they hurt. In fact, I have a quilt I've been hand quilting for 25 years. And I'll go work on it really hard and my fingers will get so sore. I'll put the quilt away and then I'll forget about the quilt for like 2 years. And then I'm like, oh no, I gotta go back and finish it. One day I'll finish that quilt of mine. It's my own design. I even made my own pattern. It's just the hand quilting is, you know, it's a lot of work. And you gotta do it yourself. You can't, yeah. You can't hire someone else out. I'm filling in that spot. I had a hole there and I wanted to get rid of that hole because when I pour my sand in, it would stick up there. So I'll tell you about the sand I bought. I bought several different sands and they all look green. They all look green. So I went ahead and I tested the sand. Where's that little piece I did? Did I already throw it out? Oh, here it is. So I took the sand, I glued it down. I showed you how I glued it down so it stays on here nice and firm. Look at how nice and firm that is. And then I took my burnt sienna and watered it down, and it looks way better. Has a little bit more of that red tone. So that's what I can do with the sand if the colors don't come out right. I can give them a nice wash of the other colors that I've got going for me. Yeah. All right, so I do want to stop and talk about the suitcase project really quick. Because once you start these projects, you know, it's like they're going quick, you know. Let's put that there. So this is the suitcase I got. Oh, the camera's not even facing the direction. Where's my cameraman when I need him? All right. So the suitcase is for the mini train set. And oh, there's more art in here. So I'm gonna work on that. I am still trying to decide. Okay, here's my original concept for it. Let's just come back and talk about it for a second. My original concept is, here's the track, it's just an oval, and I was going to have a mountain come up in the middle and then the ocean around the side. I was going to make it a freestanding diorama, but because that's not going to work, I'm going to, for this instead, I wanted to come up with just the right type of city or town to put there. I mean, personally, I'm just like thinking Washington State is like always the state that I use for my examples because, you know, we have desert, swamps, mountains, we've got quicksand, we've got glaciers, we've got, you know, we got it all here. So I always represent that into my dioramas. So I'm not sure if I want to do that or if see, how far can you go sci-fi when you have that? Like, yeah, we've got like Snowpiercer, right? But that's a more modern train. My trains are old and they look brand new. So I have to think about that. I'm not going to make my trains look old either. I want them to look good. So I wanted to make the right type of environment to put them in. And so I thought, oh, let's go Mad Max. If we do Mad Max, then the problem with that is the train is too nice and clean looking. I don't want to age the train. The trains cost $350 each. I lucked out buying the set at the thrift or at the antique store. I got the whole set for like 125 bucks, and there was about $600 worth of stuff in the box. So I was pretty shocked about that. So if I did like a Snowpiercer or a Mad Max diorama, you know, the train's going to suffer. So I don't want to do that. And the train has to look, in order to fit into the scene, it would have to look like that. So now I have to decide, what can I do to make this special? And then I thought, well, what about Hong Kong bright neon, you know, Japanese snap colors. You got those bright colors. Let's make a random weird little town with that. Well, there we go again, is the train colors are more basic. You know, the basic yellow, the basic red. There's not any grand colors in there. So I don't want to change the trains once again. So that is the dilemma I'm coming up with. I keep thinking like space would be so cool, like just a train in space kind of set concept, but that's not going to work with the trunk. So, you know, so definitely maybe just something very plain, but I don't know. Hopefully I can come up with a really good idea. You know, I mean, plus if you're dealing with small little things, because this is, what did I say, Z scale. My Z-scale people are very tiny. Let me grab my Z-scale people and my Z-scale cards. I'll show you the depth that we're dealing with, the tininess. The tiniest little people. And the cars too. So, plus if I want to buy cars for this, they're going to cost a lot of money unless you buy them in bulk. And in bulk, you're only getting specific kind of cars. So here's an example of some bulk cars here. These are all, and these come apart too. You can snap them apart. And you can take the windshields out. In fact, that's all windshields right there from the last project I did. Here are, I don't know why these are big differently. Anyway, so here's some cards. I use these for my car cave diorama and hand painted them all to look rusty. So let me see that silver bullet. Isn't that on? I'm going to look at the silver bullet from Stephen King and look at this train. I could also do, so example, you know, you can do so many things. You could also do your area. Here is one of these cards that I painted to look rusty and old. And then here is the bottom part. You know, it's so crazy how you don't ever see Ford Tauruses anymore. Like, do you remember the era of Ford Tauruses were like everywhere? My parents even had one. They're like, that car, you could not turn it around in a very good spot at all. It would just be like, you know. But yeah, I noticed that because when I was talking about Cash for Clunkers a couple years ago, and then that was kind of come to light again. But you know, Cash for Clunkers cost America billions of dollars. I did a little thing on this, and it cost us billions of dollars by trash. Where did that little guy go? This is a tiny pig. Look at this, okay? Look at that pig. You can also get bicycles. Now, if you've watched Luke Towan here on YouTube, he did the magnetic system where it looks like a bicycle and a car is driving around his HO set. I want to say he does trains, but some of his dioramas, there's no train tracks on them. So they're more like just individual dioramas. So yeah, I bought these cars one at a time over the years. Definitely. Oh, so you see what's in my hand? Those are now a lot of times N and Z scale go together. They'll just say they're the same. N scale is 160, 1 to 160. Z scale is 1 to 220. So here are the people. These are my painted people. I actually have a bunch of unpainted people. Bye, that guy's gone forever. We don't know. He's gone. Bye, Joe. But yeah, So there you go, very tiny stuff. And you can also order, back in the day I had to do a 70s style diorama, and I ordered a bunch of little cars, and this was the police car I ordered, and I loved it so much. I just didn't want to use it for the diorama, I just kept it. And then you also can get, like, remember I was talking about one of those little soda pop machines. There you go. All right. But now you guys want to see the cool stuff, I'm sure of it. Sorry, Joe, you're missing forever. All right. These are, I believe, G-scale people. For G-scale trains, I believe. And then this is the N-scale bikers I got the other day. It's N-scale, so I got the HO scale. So you can see that these are too small. So, all right. And then I've got some horses. When you get scales, sometimes you can get like a 7-pack of horses. That one's not. That's from a different one. And no, but I've used them all up on my other projects. That's what's left. And then each one of these is different. This is the basketball. So I've already used up several of the players. And they've got the blackboard there, which is awesome, I would say. These are all from the 100-pack, when you buy 100 of these little guys. And you get these are little sets. So this is the football guys. Yeah, that's cool. These guys like taking that dude down. That's cool. This is the kids playing. So you've got, this is the wire for the swing. This is a tire swing here. Kids, and then the homemade carts, stuff like that. This will be great for a Back to the Future scene. I could think about my train, what era it is. I could like get into it really, you know. Thank you, Stanley. So I could really look. Stripe the Furry Tiger. I think everybody should love trains, right? Even if you're not doing the trains, you should make something tiny and that could go in with the trains. I love to watch videos from the Germany. I forgot the name of them. They're like Wonder something. And they have all that giant train set and all the tiny little things hidden about. It's very cool. All right. Here's the snowmen. Those guys falling out. And so you snowballs. Some of them are throwing snow. I've used them up in my other one. A little bit of snow right there. Then we have, now they also have these in nudes. You can buy these people nude. So there we go. We got this lady, or no, this is a kid with blow-up sleeves. What is that? I never even noticed that before. Oh, it's a bag. And then that's a towel. And then, of course, we've got our people there. And these are HO scale. They make these in H scale, G scale, N scale. Yeah, we've approved N scale. We've got a skateboarder, a dude. These are more kids again. I think there was more kids on there. Yeah, you'll sneak over and start landscaping. Well, at least you know what to get them for Christmas, right? Like, somebody doesn't have any hobbies. It's very difficult to figure out what they want. This one looks like a church people, you know? Definitely. What's missing? Oh, this was a soapbox. I remember because I used this for my other piece. And there we go. And then we have, this was, I think, business people. I don't remember, but she was the only one left. And then once again, we got more kids. This one was washing the dogs, so there was more pieces with that for the kids. And then that one's empty. This one, it just looks like regular people you'd find at the mall. That girl's definitely named Tiffany right there. And then we have people sitting. This one was a sitting one. And then we have, what's this? More old lady sitting. And then one more dude sitting. I don't know where he went from. Probably a game or something. Okay. So those are some of the examples of the small people you can get. Many things. Now, Luke Towan, if you have watched Luke Towan, he was my beginning hero. I watched him learn how to make my dioramas, and I haven't watched him since. You know, not any reason, just, you know, on to something else, I guess. But he has the diorama where he put a magnet strip in to the diorama and turn on, and I think it's a Land Rover drives around, and then there's a little bicycle guy that you can see him moving his feet and he's riding around. I want to do that one day. I don't know for what yet, but it's in my mind. I want to get that magnetic track. I want to make the diorama. I want the bicycle moving around. So I think that'll be fun to do in the future. Maybe if maybe there's a specific movie or something I'll come across. So, oh my gosh, Tom, if you're still on here, I watched Skinamarink. That movie messed me up. I couldn't stop thinking about that movie. It was really messed me up. that was the worst horror movie. Not in a bad way, but it was like a horror movie that really it took some toll on you. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Without having to censor myself, I guess. You're trying to find the right words, like, it really beat me up, man. So, all right, where are we at? We're at 56 minutes, we did it, we're almost a whole hour in, yay! Thank you guys so much for hanging out and watching what's going on in my diorama world. I am also making, I'll end this with the pinball diorama, or pinball quilling that I'm going to do next, is I've taken this Elvira, this is, I always forget, I forgot the name of it. There's different components of the pinball machine, and this has a name for it, the faceplate, where you look down on. I thought it'd be cool is if I could do this in paper quilling, and, you know, yeah, you find it interesting, put you to sleep, yeah. Yeah, I know. I don't know. I don't know if my dad even watches my videos. My mom does, so she told my dad to watch it, you would think. But his slingshot was way better. I definitely think so. And I think if I rode my Montesa instead of my new bike, I probably would have done the bike weave better. Because I've only put like 20 miles on my bike, so it's totally different than my Montesa too. So practicing sitting down while you ride a motorcycle is very difficult if you've been standing for 20 years. So I said, I gotta get back into street riding. Is so different than dirt bike riding too. I was like, oh no, but we had a great time. I had fun. Maybe next year we'll do some more. Maybe some people will join us. So what I'm just doing here is I want to do this quilling design about this size here. And then what I've started doing is just cutting the colors out, the main backing. So like this big chunk of green, this big chunk of blue. And guess what? My paper pack didn't come with any red. They came with 2 yellows, but no red. I mean, so I will go into town and get some red soon. But I mean, this is project number 3 on the list, so I'm okay there. But I like to get things going every so often. And today I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to make a tiny little art piece that I was inspired to do this morning. So it's always jumping around here or there. But during the day is a good time for me to get up and do more movement of art, go outside, work in the shop, whatever I need to do, because nighttime I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna watch TV while I do all this ridiculous work of, you know, painting and cutting and all of that stuff. So that's a lot of work to do. I'm really excited though, you guys. This will be fun. And there you go. There's that diorama. One more diorama down. Yeah, my dad, he's pretty cool. He's made other slingshots before too, and he has carved, oh, hold on. Let's see if I could pull one out really quick. He carves little sculptures for me, and he has made, I want to say like 8+ sculptures, and he will hand carve. So here's one. This is the last one he just did, December 2025. So he will do little sculptures and stuff. And my son got him a wood carving kit this year, and then he made me those glasses too and stuff. So he's got a nice little collection of little things. We always say he should make me a chess kit, or, you know, and then I could play the game with them. So, all right. Well, we're just about there to that. I'm trying to get an hour in. Try to get that hour. I'll be back tomorrow at 11:30. Thanks, you guys, for watching, and have a good one. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Stripe the Furry Tiger. Thank you, Stanley. Thanks, you guys. Bye. Gotta
push that button now.